Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is probably my most requested video ever. In today's video I'm going to talk about how I went to 11 Shawn Mendes shows in 1 year. I was debating on even making this video for the longest time because this has been requested for like a year. I just wasn't sure if I even wanted to do this because first of all I don't have like specific things that you can do to make this happen. Like it's not like a guide you can just follow, and also I just like don't want to brag in any way, so I just didn't know if I even wanted to make this video, but here we are. So like I said, I went to 11 Shawn Mendes shows in 2019 and these were in different countries and even different continents. I went to Amsterdam, Copenhagen, Paris, Dublin, London, Toronto and Sydney. So what I'm gonna do to make this video like a bit more logical and just to make it make more sense, I'm gonna go through every show separately and then divide it in categories. So the categories are tickets, travel way, accommodation, money and experience. If you're excited for this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and let's just get right into it. So money wise, I don't really like talking about money because I feel like that's a bit personal, so that is why I'm going to mention it now and then just like mention a few tips and tricks like throughout the rest of the video. Basically before you even announce the tour, I already had like pretty good amount of money saved because I knew that if he was gonna announce a tour, I was gonna try and do more than one show. I didn't expect 11, but it's very addictive. I already had that saved before he even announced it, and I think the most important thing that people don't really realize, in my opinion, is that, and I think the most important thing that a lot of people don't realize or just don't know, is that basically a lot of things that you like need to book or need to get, you can do that last minute. Like you don't have to book the accommodation or like the flights or get the tickets like right away. You can wait with that until you have the money. And oh my god, there is like a huge insect on my window. It kind of does depend on the situation because sometimes flights can be a lot cheaper if you book it like as soon as possible instead of last minute. So it kind of does depend on the situation, but honestly most of the time it doesn't really make much of a difference. A little disclaimer, I'm going to be talking about the Shawn Mendes tour from last year, so this all might not be the same for every single tour, but most of it is probably relevant for any tour, but this is mostly about that tour, so I just wanted to point that out because it might be kind of confusing. So keep in mind that when this tour was announced, it was still a year away, so when I kind of like figured out what shows I wanted to do, I still had a year to save up money. So I just tried to pick up like more shifts at work, and I asked for money for my birthday, my graduation, like everything. I got my driver's license that year, so I could all get money for all of those things. And then I tried to like not go out as much and just save all the money that I could. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to say about money. So throughout the video I'm gonna mention like a couple of things that you can do, like choosing for cheaper options and stuff. Let's start with the shows. So Amsterdam, obviously these were one of my favorite shows because they were like my home shows. I live in the Netherlands if you didn't know. I'm probably gonna say this about every show that it was my favorite, but these were definitely one of my favorites. So I got a lot of questions about tickets, like how I got so many tickets at the same time, because especially for like Europe, all the shows go on sale at the same time, and there's only one answer to that, which is that I just didn't get them at the same time. I got a lot of tickets on resale, and I know that a lot of people probably don't trust that and just are too scared to do it in case it's like a scam, but I did get a lot of tickets on resale and it almost all turned out fine, because for the Amsterdam shows a lot of people, like basically everyone I knew, got tickets for these shows on Viagogo. That's a website. A lot of times this goes right. Like I know a lot of people who have gotten tickets on Viagogo before and it was always just good, but for these Amsterdam shows literally everyone I knew got the tickets on Viagogo and they were all fake. That was kind of sad because me and my friend Emilia got front row tickets for the first Amsterdam show on Viagogo because I had a meet and greet. I was obviously one of the first people to go in, so my ticket was fake, but I still had my backup ticket, which was row 10, just in case that it was fake. I could still go in and I was row 10, so that was all fine and I got my money back. But literally everyone got scammed for that first show, which was kind of funny. It was not funny at the time because everyone's like really stressed to get new tickets, but I think everyone ended up with still pretty good tickets. That was really weird that literally everyone got scammed. I wouldn't necessarily say that Viagogo is fake, but I wouldn't really get tickets on that website again, I think. So for the first Amsterdam show, which was like the first show of the entire tour, I got tickets on a pre-sale because this was the most important show for me. So this was the show that I wanted to get good tickets for. This was in May 2018, I believe. So I got tickets for row 10 for that show, which was just good. So I was really happy with that. So then for the second Amsterdam show, it was really funny because I had my finals in 2018. So on the day of the regular sale, I was literally in my final. And when I finished, I checked my phone and I saw that they added a second Amsterdam show, which was insane to me because I was always like, oh, only like London gets multiple shows and that would never be Amsterdam. But they did, which was so special, but it was already sold out after I finished my final. That was fun. But then a couple of months later, I found a row 5 ticket on Ticketswap, which is an app where you can like buy tickets on resale. And Ticketswap is really reliable because first of all, if it's fake, you get your money back, but also I don't really know how it works, but I think the app like scans the e-ticket to see if it's real or something like that. I don't really know how it works, but I just know that you can trust Ticketswap, and I've gotten a lot of tickets on that app before, so yeah. And I also got a ticketless gold VIP, which is a meet and greet, and I got that on the regular VIP sale, which was also in May 2018 for the first Amsterdam show, by the way. Travel wise for these shows, I went by train because I can travel by train for free because I'm a student here, so that's good. And for accommodation, I stayed at home. Like I said, I absolutely loved the Amsterdam shows. They were so special to me because first of all, these shows were the first shows of the whole entire tour, and it was just really cool to me that he was starting in my country. And also I had a meet and greet, which is obviously really good, and I just really loved the fact that literally everyone from like around the world was here where I live. Just the fact that everyone flew here and I met Shawn and everything was just really good. That was probably the best week of my entire life. I'm not even joking. I would do anything to relive that week, honestly. The next show that I went to that I actually wasn't planning on going to is Copenhagen. This was a last minute decision to surprise my friends, and it turned out so amazing. So I decided that I wanted to go like a week before the show, so I was like, how am I gonna get tickets? But then they randomly released more tickets on the original Ticketmaster, so I just got a ticket from the original Danish Ticketmaster. And it was like row 18, I think, so it wasn't bad at all, but I ended up being row 5 with my friends because I didn't feel like being alone. So for Travelway, I flew there, but I did look at a bus option because that's usually a lot cheaper. But to take the bus from Amsterdam to Copenhagen was going to take like 12 hours, but I was not going to make it because I had a school thing on Friday and I had to be back on Monday. So if I took the bus, I would literally only be there for like one day, which I didn't want. So I chose to fly there, which was a bit more expensive because the flights got really expensive the day I wanted to book them. For flights, I would recommend booking them as soon as you like are sure of which flight you want to take, because flights can like randomly get a lot more expensive, which you obviously don't want. So I would say if you know that you're gonna take that exact flight, just book it because you just don't want to get more expensive. But the flights were not that expensive, so it was still fine. And for accommodation, my friend Hannah, she lives in Copenhagen and I could stay at her house, which is something that I really do recommend if you want to go to multiple shows. Try to go to places where you have friends living, because first of all, it's a lot cheaper to stay at their house, and also it is a lot more fun because you'll be together. And we stay with like 6 people at our house, which is so fun. I really love doing that. That's just something that made the trip a lot more fun, and yeah, I would really recommend doing something like that. Copenhagen was a really pretty city. Just everything there was so stunning, and also the fact that I went there to surprise some friends was really special. That was probably one of my favorite experiences of the whole tour. But I do have to say that if you want to go to Copenhagen or like Denmark in general, it's pretty expensive. 7 euros for one iced coffee. That is exactly the reason why I ended up leaving Copenhagen with 10 euros left. That is just something that kind of sucked about Copenhagen because it's so expensive. It sucked especially because I got back from Copenhagen at like 3 p.m. on a Monday, and then I was leaving a couple of hours later to go to Paris with 10 euros. Wouldn't really recommend. Paris. Another kind of last minute decision. I decided that I wanted to go to Paris like a month before the show, I think, just because I thought that it could be fun. I found a girl on Twitter that was selling a ticket, and at first I was pretty like scared about like getting tickets from people on Twitter, but I saw that she actually was from France, and I saw that a few of my friends followed her, so I just asked my friends if I could trust her, and they were like, yeah, she's not gonna like scam you. So I got a ticket from that girl, and I think it was like row 14, and I actually got this ticket as a gift for my graduation from my grandparents, so that's why I was like able to do another show. Thank you to them. I went by bus to Paris. I took the bus in Amsterdam around midnight, and then I arrived in Paris at like 7 a.m. because the bus was like 6 or 7 hours, which was honestly fine because it was overnight, so I could sleep. I ended up not sleeping, which killed me the next day, but I could have slept because it was overnight. For accommodation, it was basically also the bus. I arrived at 7 a.m. and then I was in Paris for the day. I went to the show, and then after the show I took a bus back to Amsterdam, so I arrived back in Amsterdam like 7 a.m. the next day. This is something that I don't think I would really do again quickly. To be honest, if Shawn's gonna tour again and the bus is cheap, I'll probably just do it again in a heartbeat. But as for now, I would not really think about doing it again because it's just so exhausting. But the bus to Paris for a return was only 30 euros, so it was not like really expensive. I'm not gonna lie, Paris was my least favorite show of the shows that I did, and technically it has nothing to do with Paris or the show itself because Shawn was good as usual, but the whole experience just wasn't so good. I was super tired because I pulled an all-nighter because I couldn't sleep on the bus, and I already was really tired because I came back from Copenhagen the same day that I left for Paris. Like, I was home for like 4 hours, and then after the show, when I took the bus back home at like 4 a.m. my phone died, and I still had to make my way home from Amsterdam, so I had to like check the train times, and I had to call my mom to pick me up and everything like that, which was just a disaster. I was just feeling really bad, but luckily at the train station there's like a lot of signs that say where the trains are going and stuff. I kind of knew at what times the trains usually go to my station, but I still had to call my mom to pick me up because I still live like 20 minutes away by car from the train station, but I couldn't call her because my phone was dead. So at the train station in Amsterdam, I went up to this guy and I was like, hey, could I maybe call my mom because my phone's dead and I need her to pick me up? And he was like, oh, which station do you need to go to? So I told him where I needed to go, and he was like, that's still an hour away, get a power bank. And I was like, are you kidding? And I was like, well, sorry, but I have a power bank, but it just died. And then when I got to my station, I went up to this like service thing and I was like, hi, could I maybe call my mom? And the woman was really nice. She was like, yeah, sure. So I call my mom, she does not pick up. And then I call my home cell phone, but they do not pick up. And then I called my grandparents, and my grandma told me that my mom was on her way, because the night before I told my mom that I was probably gonna be at the station around 9 a.m. and she kind of figured that since I hadn't looked at my phone since 4 a.m. that my phone died. So I just waited there, and then my mom showed up and I went home and I slept the whole day. And so overall the experience wasn't as good, but the show was good. So for the Dublin show, I looked at the show if I could go because it was like right before London, and I was like, if I go, I could go straight from there to London. And then I told myself that if I had an exam on the 15th of April, I was not gonna go because the Dublin show was on the 14th and then I had London on the 16th. So I was like, okay, if I have an exam on the 15th, I'm not gonna go, but if I don't, I can go to Dublin. Then I found someone on Twitter who was selling a front row ticket. I just couldn't resist myself, so I was just like, can I go to Dublin? No idea. Am I gonna get this ticket? Yes, because it was actually really cheap, and I was just like, I need to just be front row once. Like, that is just gonna be such a good experience, so I'm just gonna do it. I don't care about school, I just don't care, I'm gonna get this. So I got the ticket, and then it turned out that I did have an exam on the 15th of April, but I was not in the country. But then things changed, and they changed the Dublin seating plan, which was just seats. Like, his whole tour was seated, but then they changed Dublin to general admission, and I, to be honest, still don't know why they did that, but they changed it to standing. So because of this, I wasn't sure if I was gonna be front row anymore because it was all standing. So if I wanted to be front row, I had to like stay in line. But then this girl, she DMs me and she was like, hey, do you know where I can sell a meet and greet? Because I have a meet and greet, but my friend can't come anymore. So I was like, oh, which show is it for? And she was like, oh, Dublin night 2. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I can buy your meet and greet. Which at first I felt so dumb for because I was like, why on earth would I need 2 meet and greets? But my first experience for like the Amsterdam meet and greet was so good, so I was just like, I'm just gonna do this again because it was so amazing. The meet and greet included a ticket, so I sold my front row ticket to my friend and I still ended up front row. The airport was our accommodation. Yes, in Dublin we decided to sleep at the airport. This sounds really stupid. It actually is really stupid. Okay, let me clarify this. Concert usually ends at like 11 p.m. so you would get to like your hotel, hostel, Airbnb, whatever accommodation you would stay in at like 11:30 to midnight maybe, and we had a flight to London at 6 a.m. so we would have to go to the airport at like 4 a.m. anyway. So we were just like, why would we book accommodation for like 4 hours when we can just like stay at the airport and just go to like McDonald's, try to sleep and just like chill. But we were with like 5 people, so it was fine. And for travel way, I obviously flew to Dublin. Oh my god, Dublin was really good. The experience was good because I was front row and I had a meet and greet. Perfect. In my meet and greet, I actually told him about my tour vlogs, and that was just really special to me because he was like, oh my god, that's so cool, and blah blah, and that was honestly so sweet, so I really loved that. And then the show was obviously really good because I was front row, and oh my god, it's just live from front row. Wow. And the experience of sleeping at the airport was fine for as far that can be fine. The day after I was really tired though because I didn't sleep, because when everyone else was asleep I was scared that if I was gonna sleep too, no one would wake up and we would miss our flight or something. So I didn't sleep, but I survived. So I definitely want to go back to Dublin one day because I didn't see much of the city, but Dublin was really good. London. Cute, expensive London. For the London shows, he had 3 shows there, and I remember that I thought the second show was the most important because it was on the 17th of April, and you probably don't know this, but the first time I saw Shawn was on the 17th of April 2016, so that would be exactly 3 years, and it would be really cool if I could see him in London. So that's why me and Ailey got tickets for the second show first on a pre-sale, and that was tickets close to B stage, so that was fine. And then in December 2018, I think they released more tickets for the London show, so me and Ailey got row 10 tickets for the first London show, and then I got row 3 tickets for the last London show, which is obviously really good tickets, so I was really happy with that. So I stayed in London for an entire week, which is why we booked an Airbnb with like 10 people, I think. I would recommend booking either an Airbnb or hostels if you want to go do like multiple shows, because that's a lot cheaper than a hotel. Obviously, if you have the money and you want like the luxury, definitely just book a hotel, like do what you want. Like it kind of depends on with how many people you are, but I think Airbnbs are really nice because if you're with like more people, it's also a lot of fun to be together. So Airbnbs are usually a cheaper option. And travel wise, I flew to London from Dublin. London is just honestly always a really good experience. I just had a lot of cute memories from that trip. Like Shawn liked my tweet, I had a lot of special moments with Ailey, my friend Jess surprised me in London, the shows were really good, and also these shows were like the last shows of the European part of the tour, and usually a lot of times London is like the last part of the tour, which is always really special, so I would really recommend going to London. And also the city is just really pretty. Toronto, my favorite place on this entire world. Oh my god. This was Shawn's first ever stadium show, so you can already imagine that I just had to go there. For the ticket sale, I was gonna go with Ailey and her dad, so we were 3 people. So we weren't really focused on getting like really good tickets because it's a stadium, so probably anywhere would be pretty good. And also getting 3 tickets is usually a bit harder, so we just wanted tickets. And the tickets we ended up getting were actually really good, so I have nothing to complain about. I stayed in an Airbnb again with like 8 people, and the Airbnb was so cute and the location was really good, and that was honestly so nice. I really loved that Airbnb. The view was good, the people were good, everything was good, it was cheap, so yeah. For travel away, I obviously flew to Toronto because that's Canada, that's a different continent. Is there even a different travel way? I don't know, but I flew to Toronto. I can honestly talk about my Toronto experience for literally hours, so I'm not gonna bore you with that. The experience in Toronto was just really good because first of all, everyone from like all over the world flew into this show because it was his first stadium show, and the show was obviously really good because it was so special. And then I met a lot of people from like the US and Canada, which I've never met before, which was so good. Yeah, I need to stop before I talk about this for hours, but I loved Toronto. That was probably my favorite trip ever. So the last 2 shows that I went to were in Sydney, Australia, and for these 2 shows I'm going to start off by saying that there's something special about it because through a radio contest I won this trip. And what I exactly won was the flights from Amsterdam to Sydney for 2 people, 2 tickets for the show, a taxi from the airport to the hotel, and the hotel for 3 nights for 2 people. And I got pocket money to spend there, so basically this trip didn't cost me anything. Really thankful that I got to do this, and I'm so happy still. It was so special. Without that contest, this literally wouldn't be possible, so I'm really happy that I got to do this. I just wanted to point that out there. Like I mentioned, I won 2 tickets for the show, and I got tickets for the second Sydney show, but he also had a first show there. So like a week before they released more tickets, so I also got tickets for the first show, which was like row 5. We would already be in Sydney, so we might as well just go to both shows. So we stayed in a 5-star hotel, which I usually wouldn't do because that's way too expensive, way above my budget. But because of the radio station we did, which was really cool because the breakfast was amazing, the location was really good because it was like right next to the arena. Yeah, it was just a really good time. And obviously for Sydney I also flew there. This was really long, it was like 20 hours of flying, but it was definitely worth it. I swear to god, Dan and Shay were Shawn's support act for Sydney, and I literally love them so much, so I was really excited to see them. Like at that point I was literally more excited to see Dan and Shay than to see Shawn. That made my experience so much more special, and also the fact that I was with my mom made it so cool because it was my mom's first time ever seeing Shawn. I really loved Australia, and I would definitely go back sometime because we were only there for 2 days, which was really funny because the woman at border control, like obviously she asked like, oh, why are you here, where are you from, blah blah blah, and she was like, oh, how long are you here for? And we were like, 2 days. And she was like, why on earth would you go here for 2 days when it takes 2 days to get here? Yeah, that was really funny, but I'm very, very grateful. So that's everything that I wanted to mention for this video. I definitely forgot some things, I feel like. So if there's any questions that you have or just things you still want to know, please leave them in the comments. I will definitely answer you. Also, go check out my tour vlogs that I did for these shows. I will link them down below. I would really appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.